What's up, guys? Pokemoners here with episode 6 of my Minecraft Let's Play series. Hope you all have had a good last few days. Today is Thursday, June 2nd. I'm recording this just after 7 o'clock for the Friday episode. I just got done watching a really cool guy doing a 100% Pokemon on Guitar Hero, I believe. His username is UKOGMonkey, so interesting username. Just want to sort of give him a verbal shout out. I'm not going to put it in the description, but sure, why not? Just something I found cool. Before we got into the main world, I did want to show off something. I was building on a separate world, and here's what I have. And I got this cool, stone house, oh, it's decently good. Why do you have so many doors? This is why. I'm at, almost 100 blocks up. What I did was I went ahead and put myself, I think sea level's about 70, and I spawned on the top of a hill. This used to be trees. I did use a couple fill commands, but it looks really good, and I just sort of wanted to show it off a little bit before we got into the actual Let's Play. So today, going back into WTF is Minecraft, because WTF is Minecraft, seriously, man. To be fair, it is different for everybody. It's a different experience for everybody. I didn't do anything since we went through the whole cave adventure. And I made sure to put the annotation up. I want to give a special shout out to the commenter. I think your username is the same, so probably just Snowy523, for pointing out that I had not initially put the annotation in to skip the spider spawner. He's like, hey dude, you didn't do this. So he made sure I did, and I just wanted to sort of say, I appreciate it. Glad you're looking out for me and stuff. You the real MVP and all that crap. Not all that crap, but you the real MVP and all that stuff. People I know will say that. This is kind of meant as something funny. A little Skype notification. Ignore that. That's a looks like someone just shared a photo in one of the group chats I have. I'm very active on Skype. That's one of the things I use to connect with my friends around the world. It's also where a couple of my viewers come from. Just sort of a quick shout out for them. I'm going to go by the username instead of the real world name. Prismatic. Yum the Great. I'm sure to remember all of them that they would want to be referenced by. Ashton Mesmer. Syndonia, I believe, was one of them. Nice tree there, by the way. I'll get to that in a second. Eevee Evolutions, there we go. That's his actual username. I was going to say the name he goes by on Skype, but then I don't remember if that's his actual name or not. Just to be safe, not going to use that. There's a couple others. There's been a lot of drama with that whole sort of section of my fan base over the past year, so it's been very interesting. Very scary, but very interesting. So, there's that. Let's go ahead and, before I start building a glass bridge, which is exactly what I wanted to do, let's go ahead and chop down that tree. Because, F the environmentalists, am I right? Actually, at the time of recording this, a good, not good YouTuber, but person I watch a lot of content of and I really enjoy, good old Paul Joseph Watson. He's doing a Reddit Ask Me Anything, so that's going to be fun. I meant to sort of take a look at that, but I never did. Good lord, people are going to rip him apart. A lot of people hate him simply because he will say things that, he will say things in a certain way that will, piss a lot of people off. And he realizes that, and he does it anyway. Which is fine. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with that. You're not forcing people to watch your video, so you can kind of say whatever you want in your video, as long as it's nothing As long as, I think the line to draw for that is child pornography. If you're showing child pornography, you cannot be on the internet. You know, go die off somewhere. You are a pest to society. Anyhow, that's where I draw the line. You know, I want to make sure that line is drawn. Doing some bonus research today, actually. LA, completely random topic, is the second most populated city in the country. The reason that's relevant is because one of my good friends wants to move there this coming summer. Not the summer that's happening right now, next summer. I'm just really nervous for her, you know. I think about it a lot. I think about how much that will change her life, and I'll think about the fact that I won't be able to bail her out if something goes wrong. Initially, I was going to be able to, but now I can't. So yeah, I'm just genuinely nervous about it. She's excited for it. The friend that she's going with is also excited for it. So, I mean, have at it. You do you, but I would... If I lived in LA, it'd probably only be for a little while. I wouldn't stay there permanently, even though a lot of the YouTubers are out there, like Ray and Mr. Guitar Man and Tobuscus and all those basically crazy fuckers, lovingly used. Even though, you know, they're all out there and every day would be an adventure, I still wouldn't do it. Because while you're over there, the spotlight is constantly on you. And everything you say or do is constantly watched, judged, etc. It was a very interesting interaction between, like, Tyler Oakley and, like, Shay Carl. That's just one of the examples where it's like, these are two people who work in the exact same industry, should be working together, but instead they're going against each other. It's just very bizarre. And views are very split about almost everything there, from how to film your content to how to grow your audience. You know, everything's very split. People outside of LA are not as affected by that division, but a lot of people there are. And of course, people will say, you know, you don't live there, how would you know? I have an idea. I mean, you kind of hear things, and you kind of use common sense. You assess the political climate, and you judge from there. You know, I'm not saying it's a terrible place, I'm just saying that it can change very quickly. It's kind of like New York City in the fact that it can just kind of transform overnight. Not exactly like New York City, because New York City is, like, famous for doing that. It's like this huge sort of metropolis that if you grow up in America, you know about it from, like, 5 years old. But yeah, no, if you've grown up in America, if you were born in America and you've grown up here, you know exactly where New York City is. Like, you've heard about it, you've heard, like, I'll put it this way, you've heard, like, legends about it. That's how big we're talking here. You know, there have been video games where it basically, like, resembles New York City. Grand Theft Auto is the best example of it. And Grand Theft Auto 5 actually represents, I can't remember if it's San Francisco or LA. It's one of the two. So it's just very interesting that they did that. But, yeah, no, New York City has just been sort of a really shining symbol of America for a while. And those people who hate America usually don't like New York City very much. I personally like it. I think it's a really cool symbol to have. All the skyscrapers and stuff. Certain superheroes would not be who they are without all those skyscrapers and different things. One of my favorites, Spider-Man, he would definitely not be his crazy self if there were no skyscrapers. He'd be like, well, I'm screwed, basically. I'm trying to think of how to do this. Because the annoying part is that, well, let's do it this way. Let's get over here, and that's going to miss by a little bit, but we can make up for it. Okay. What we're going to do is I'm going to dig down on this little area, and then we're just going to build sort of a glass bridge over. What else was I going to mention? Oh! There's this weird thing. I've never really understood this. Why do people dislike videos? Like, they push that actual dislike button. That's what some people did for the video that I just mentioned where the guy played Guitar Hero, and it's just like, not sure why people do that. You can not like a video that someone uploads. That's cool, you know, right to your opinion, and all that. You You know, people take them one step further. They go, right to my own opinion, you know, when it's not researched and stuff as well. Anyhow, you know, why do people actually do that? Like, why do people sit down and actually, like, say, I do not like this video, and I'm going to push this button to tell this person that he's an idiot? Not necessarily telling them they're an idiot, but it's just like, why? I'm just interested, because it's like, I would hate if anybody pushed that button on my video. I'd be like, oh, what did I do wrong? Like, I'd be so, like, I wouldn't be distraught, but I'd definitely be bothered by it. I'd be like, oh, I fucked up in some way. What did I do wrong? You know, I'd actually probably, if I could track down the person, I'd message the person and be like, okay, what did I do wrong? You know, all that jazz. And, you know, sometimes there's no reason, but it's just, it's weird. I've never disliked video. Even the Rebecca Black Friday video from like 4 or 5 years ago, I never pushed the dislike button. I almost actually liked that song. I didn't find it as annoying as everybody else did, weirdly enough. Let's see, other news and stuff that I can talk about. Oh, one weird thing that I read. The censorship war continues, essentially. I read this article this morning, where I think it was on Wednesday, where like big companies around the world had vowed to sort of do like this day of censorship against. It was over in Europe. I believe it was just against people that didn't agree with the regime, which is basically, over there at least, a very socialist, Islamic-friendly regime. That's probably how I would describe it. Islamic-friendly to the point where they, you know, support ISIS and stuff as well. So it's just interesting. I think the Pope had a very interesting quote about ISIS. I just can't remember what it was. And I definitely don't want to say it. Because the Pope, I feel like because he's a religious figure. Like, not that we shouldn't take his politics seriously, but we shouldn't criticize what he says. You know, I feel like because of who he is, and because sort of the history of that, or at least I respect him to the point where if I don't disagree with what he says, I'll still respect him because he's, you know, the Pope. He's the Pope of the Catholic Church. I mean, technically, he owns the most property in the entire world. But yeah, no, it's just been this very touchy topic just in general. Just not really having a pope, but, you know, look at 2016 where we have all these different regimes, all these different presidents and leaders and all this stuff. You know, the Queen of England is now more of a figurehead than anything else based on precedent. You know, the head of the Catholic Church, because of how widespread everything has become, now you can't contain things like you used to be able to contain them. It's almost like he's become, I don't want to say it, but, you know, for lack of a better word, I'm really scared to say this. So I just, when I film these videos, I'm very nervous about upsetting people. And, you know, people know this about me very well. They know it's like, okay, he doesn't want to upset people. Because I know people watching this are, like, listening in very, very closely because I brought up the Pope, but it's like, you better not say anything bad. You know, I don't really want to say anything bad. I mean, I don't know him personally. I'm not trying to say that I do. Would it be cool to meet him in person? Sure! It'd be really cool to meet him in person. You know, sit down, talk a little bit. He could probably definitely, not really explain, but sort of illuminate a lot of the religious, not restrictions, but beliefs that him and his followers, not his followers, but like the followers of the Catholic religion and such, bring up. And I have other people in my life that can do this. See, this is why I'm walking a really fine line. Because, like, everything I say, people be like, why can't I do that? Because I have Catholic friends and such. And it's just like, fuck. So I can just keep digging my hole deeper the more I talk about it. Because people are very sensitive. Some of that is understandable, but some of it's really not understandable. I mean, it hits a point where I don't get why people react a certain way. I remember on Facebook earlier, I think it was earlier today or yesterday, there was one Cards of Humanity thing where it was just like, God said, let there be, like, world peace, and then right next to it, it's like, and then came white people. Immediately I thought to myself of Kevin Hart's line from The Wedding Ring here, where he's closing, where I think he's opening one of the other doors on the other side, and he just goes, "Fucking white people." Me and my girlfriend at the time loved that line. I think we repeated it for like months after, just because it was so funny. He's a very humorous person. I'm looking forward to, what's it called? What the hell is it called? Central Intelligence. I think June 17th is when that comes out. I saw ads for it all the time when I was at work. So yeah, definitely excited for that. Probably will want to go see it just before I head up to Toronto, because I will not be able to see it when I'm up there. My grandparents will be like, "You're going to see what?" Not really, but they'll be very interested in the fact that I suddenly want to go see that kind of movie. I don't think they know that I saw The Wedding Ringer, but again, it was a really good. I enjoyed The Wedding Ringer. You know, me and again my girlfriend at the time, we both really enjoyed it. And we looked up some Kevin Hart stuff afterwards. I still watch like Conan stuff when he does stuff with Kevin Hart. I'll always watch that. You know, just little things like that. And yeah, and another cool thing about sort of where I am now in comparison to where I used to be, I can now talk about the past and not really get sad about it. You know, parts of me miss it, but then parts of me are also glad about how much farther I've come. You know, some very small parts of me are glad that I've escaped the past. That's a little bit bad to say, but there are certain people in my past that I'm glad that I've escaped from. I say escaped like I was being held hostage, but with some cases it was. There was that one girl, who I've definitely mentioned on videos before, who was just overly annoying. She would never stop talking, and just in general was a very, like, I'm the most important kind of person. For whatever reason, she really liked me for like the 3 years that I knew her, so had to deal with that. So that's more of what I'm talking about. Yeah. I say high school was great. It was, but I'm also repressing a lot. Like, I've deleted, probably just because of that's how the human mind works, I've probably erased some of my high school experiences. When I say that's how the human mind works, your brain does sort of stop you from my apologies, remembering certain traumatic events. These were not necessarily traumatic events to that scale, but to some people they could have been. You know, to some people they would definitely interpret it as that. So we completed the bridge. We completed the bridge from there to here, and then we're just going to continue that island in the next video. But again, I meant to talk about future stuff for the channel. I never got around to that. I just immediately skimmed over that. And we're really running out of time. These schedules, these videos always seem to go very long because I always run out of things to talk about. You know, there's always so much to discuss. But basically, the future stuff for the channel was I figured out a way to film videos from the Xbox, so you guys can expect some of those. And the first game will probably be Halo 3. Just so then I can get that off the ground and sort of get games that I really enjoyed onto my channel, which I've been wanting to do since I started this thing, which is a while ago. If you've been with me since the beginning, it's been a rough freaking ride, man. So yeah, that's about it for me on this video. We're still down to our only house. I'll need to build this up a little bit at some point. So yeah. This will be the last you hear from me for the week, besides a video over the weekend. Into some talks with some people, so that might be cool. Very excited for the future, as always. But thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.